Welcome to Electric Boogaloo Part 2, a podcast dedicated to the glory that is the movie sequel. On this show, you'll join myself, Taj Hodges, along with co-host Stephen Romo, in a monthly discussion with a guest who feels particularly passionate about yet another Part 2 film. We hope to bring to light the beauty, the horror, the desperate money grabs, and the welcome second acts that make up the sequels we hate to love and love to hate. Stephen and myself make no claims to be experts in film, nor do we claim the rights to any of the films we review. We just feel passionately about dumb stuff, and we're bored. If you're bored too and have ever played Electric Boogaloo, this might just be the podcast for you! Hello, and welcome to the debut episode of Electric Boogaloo Part 2, where we discuss all things sequel-related, particularly our favorite sequels that are so bad that you love to hate them, or hate to love them, or maybe a little bit of both. But yes, we are excited to get this show started. It's, like I said, first episode. Tonight we're recording live at the lovely casa of Justin Miller and our guest Bethany Evans in their Barrio Viejo Adobe. It's quite nice.
Adobe house.
Adobe house. Is it? Do you have to say both?
Was it be abode? Or can you say Adobe?
Adobe abode. Dude.
It's an abode of Adobe.
There you go.
That works. So yes, that person you hear in the background is my lovely co-host, Stephen Romo.
Hello. Stephen
and I, Taj Hodges, your host, are here to take you on an adventure through the lovely world of sequels and how really horrible they actually are, but
they can be bad.
They're bad. Well, here's the thing: is that I grew up loving sequels. I think some of my favorite movies are sequels, actually. But I think it's also a product of how old I was when movies were coming out. I was a little too young to see the first Ghostbusters when it came out, but Ghostbusters 2, I loved that movie. But a lot of people had hate for it because they loved the first one so much. It's such an iconic sci-fi comedy.
I found myself going back to sequels that I liked as a kid,
right,
and then rewatching them and just being completely let down.
Yeah, well, I mean that's just a fact of reality. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Ninja Turtles 2. I mean, that movie was ridiculous, and they had to cut out all the violence.
I mean, Mighty Ducks was pretty badass though.
Mighty Ducks 2. Still quacking?
Yeah, man.
The quack attack.
Sister Act 2, amazing.
Well, see, that one is a huge one for me. I absolutely adore Sister Act. But I also adored Sister Act 1, so...
Yeah, it was good.
So anyhow, we're getting off track, but as you can see, there's a lot of fodder for what this podcast could really be about, so we're just going to kind of spread our wings and fly tonight, so to speak, see if there's anything we can make even moderately entertaining for those of you that might possibly be listening.
And Taj is way more qualified than I am to review any movies.
Yeah, why are we qualified to do this? Do you have any qualifications?
Well, like I said, I'm a child of the 90s and late 80s, I guess. And sequels were everywhere. And yes. I found myself being too young to see the original ones in theaters, but seeing the sequel in theaters.
I think that's a fact. I think late 80s, early 90s really was kind of the period that sequels really started exploding. So it's understandable that it's something that we kind of found an attachment with. Because we weren't there to see the first one, but we were there to see the second.
And honestly, we're just bored. It's summertime and we're just bored.
It's summer, we're bored. And I always feel like...
Well, let's debut the movie.
Alright, so this month we will be discussing the lovely, amazing, cinematic romp Weekend at Bernie's 2.
That's right.
Which, Weekend at Bernie's 2 came out in 1993. It's a lovely romp that takes us on the adventures of Larry and Richard, who are two friends that basically they, in the first movie at least, they come across some errors. They work at a financial firm. They come across some errors and they bring it to their boss, Bernie Lomax, who's played by the amazing Terry Kaiser. You won't catch him. Oh yeah, he's quite a man.
I love him in everything that he does.
Right, he's dead in everything he does. It's amazing. But they find these errors. They bring them to Terry Kaiser. Terry says, "Oh, this is great. Why don't you guys come out to my beach house and we'll celebrate the fact that you just saved me $2 million." Well, it turns out Bernie was embezzling the money himself. And he plans to kill Larry and Richard at his beach house.
We should stop there.
Should we?
And then finish that because I think we're giving away too much of the movie. There's way too many spoiler alerts in this movie.
That's true. Okay. So...
Because I think we can go really balls deep with this.
But it's obvious that Bernie's dead.
Like, it's
everyone
Inception,
knows.
and then we can hit Bernie's saga.
Oh, absolutely. But, everyone... I mean, that's the plot of the movie, is that Bernie's dead. Okay, so, subtleties aside. Larry and Richard go out to Bernie's beach house. Unbeknownst to them, he has already passed away.
Yeah.
And they have to spend the weekend with Bernie, helping him stay alive, even in the past life. The tagline was actually... Bernie's dead and he's still the life of the party.
That's right.
I believe. But yes. That's just giving a little background on the first one. It's actually Weekend at Bernie's 2 that we're here to talk about. And one of the big reasons that we did this is because this is a movie that on several occasions, Stephen Romo has gone through almost the entire plot. Verbatim. And it's that passion that really kind of spawned even the notion of this podcast. So, Stephen, why don't you just give us kind of a synopsis?
So this movie takes place about, I would say, between 72 to 90 hours after the first movie. Mm-hmm. And Larry, one of the characters, pretty much takes over all of Bernie's money and possessions and kind of becomes him. And he finds a key to a safe deposit box in St. Thomas. So he's like, Richard, we gotta go. And they go. And somehow the mob is associated with a voodoo. What's like a voodoo?
Oh, what is her name?
The Mobu.
The Mobu. Yes.
So she wants Bernie because he's like hiding at like $2 million. So Larry and Richard go to the coroner's office and they pull Bernie out, and them three go to St. Thomas to try to find the safe deposit box.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Mobu.
Yes.
Puts these two other characters that we'll get into a little bit later under a voodoo curse, and they're also trying to get Bernie. So it's a battle between two factions trying to get a dead guy. But things get a little sticky for old Bernie being in the middle, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
When it all hell breaks loose. Yes. Yes. So already just so convoluted. Like, I know we're trying to be spoiler free. I don't know if we really can be spoiler free ultimately. But yes, so convoluted already. But here tonight, like I mentioned earlier, to help us discuss this movie, one of our very good friends and member of the local comedy society, as well as a prominent member in FIST.
Comedy Society.
Comedy Society. FIST, Female Storytellers, here in Tucson, as well as the Estrogen Hour. And her playful cat Gizmo, apparently, as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Bethany Evans.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Bethany. Thank you for joining us today. Yes, it's very good to have you here in your own house. Thank you for having us over.
And thank you for the coffee, Justin.
Yes, it's delicious.
Our producer, Justin Miller. He knows how to take care of his guests, brewing only the finest.
The best.
Well, you took care of us, too, with lunch today.
That's true. Today's lunch was provided by Empire Pizza. When you want a pizza and you're on Congress, there's Empire.
That's the slogan.
It should be. I mean, it's distinct.
It's an underwriter.
But anyhow, so yeah, Bethany, why don't you tell us a little bit about your activities here in Tucson?
Well, I am on the executive board of FIST Female Storytellers. I've been on it for about 3 years, and we do a show once a month at Flycatcher where we invite 5 or 6 women to come up and perform true stories that they've written based on their life that are usually comedic in nature.
Right.
Not always. And then I also do stand-up at various mics and shows around town.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've actually been on this guy, Romo's show, a couple times.
That's right.
That would be Romo Tonight Live, ladies and gentlemen, which is generally the last Sunday of every month.
Yeah.
Although it's summer, so I don't know if that's going to be the case.
July.
I mean, who knows when you're going to listen to this, but, you know.
Yeah. The show might not even be on anymore when you actually find this.
Sad, but true. Well, Bethany, yes. So, where can we see you soon? Are you doing anything? Is FIST coming up, or did it just pass?
Well, the next FIST show, I don't know when this episode's going to air, but the next one is July 13th.
Okay.
2016 at the Flycatcher, and that one, all the proceeds well, most of the proceeds go to benefit Casa Libre.
Was that what you guys do every episode? Or
Yeah, every month our show goes to benefit a different local nonprofit.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
In your
that
own
Weekend at
house.
Bernie's
In your
2
house.
existed.
Yeah, so here's the other part of this show, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my concept is to bring in a guest that has a passion for these shitty sequels. But maybe, I mean, when this idea came up, Bethany, you were there.
Oh, yeah.
And so maybe you can like replay what actually occurred.
Well, from what I remember, it was a drunken night. It started on 4th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
All good ideas do, it seems.
Right.
And I had just randomly watched like a clip of Weekend at Bernie's 1, and I brought it up to Romo. And he's like, "Have you seen Weekend at Bernie's 2?" I was like,
Oh, and by the way, it's raining.
it is raining, so
monsoony.
if you hear a little pitter patter,
We're just grateful.
yes, it's
Finally.
already cooling down in
Our
here.
podcast brought in the rain.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We bring
Thanks,
the
Bethany.
But yeah, Romo so graciously and hilariously broke down the entire plot.
He did. It was every
Pretty much
single-
like, yeah, scene by
every
scene of
single
Weekend at
part.
Bernie's
And what was
2.
crazy is that it started with us four. It was you, Justin, Taj, and myself.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Feel the burn" or something. We were like that drunk, and I was just like, "Feel the burn." I'm like, "Have you guys ever seen Weekend at Bernie's 2?" And Taj is like, "Yes." And I think Justin Miller was like, "Oh yeah, a long time ago." And Bethany's like, "No."
You guys are old.
And it was just like, let me tell you a little bit about Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Just a
3 hours later.
Yeah, and I think I stood
Actually
up.
went through the entire.
Yes.
He pantomimed the
And it
entire
was-
one up.
it was
and
amazingly well done.
He used his voice.
What was
like,
really great too is that it was a patio, so everyone's smoking cigarettes and chatting. There was probably like 15 people on the patio. About 3 minutes into my explanation, the entire patio was dead silent, and people were just staring at me. And people were coming out, "Hey John, what's up? Dude, shut up, man. I gotta hear this guy talk."
We're at the underwater scene right now.
That's
Well,
yeah.
it sounded amazing, like chickens and voodoo and
Yeah.
sharks.
yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah, sharks.
So that's just it. Like your expectations were set pretty high at that point.
Yeah.
But
Thanks a lot.
well, you know, we can't. It's
I also
not-
turned an hour and a half movie into a 3-hour
Yeah.
explanation.
Maybe
I
it
went
was
deep
the,
in that shit.
The whiskey, but I have to admit, I think Romo breaking down the plot was more hilarious than watching the actual movie.
No. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
understandable.
And there's the rain.
There's the rain. I love
There's
it.
the rain.
I love it. It's gonna be there.
It's gonna be cold tonight.
It's gonna be the backdrop to.
Better
our
get my
recordings.
second blanket out.
Is it an electric blanket?
No. I see what you did there.
So, when did you guys first see either of these movies? So you'd never seen the second one, but you'd seen the first one. When did that happen?
Oh, I must have been like 14 years old, and my mom, she got a Blockbuster monthly like membership, so we had unlimited VHS rentals.
Right.
So every day after school, we'd stop by Blockbuster, and I got to pick out a movie each time. And she just insisted I rent Weekend at Bernie's. She said it was the most hilarious movie ever,
Which it is.
which it is. It has a certain.
It's
charm
like
to it.
Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, Weekend at Bernie's, and then Weekend at Bernie's
Exactly, yeah.
2. And then
And
really
then
close,
Mannequin.
Mannequin, and then City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold,
Legends of Curly's Gold. God.
and then Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
In that order.
But
One of the
yeah.
greatest films of all time.
I don't
Caddyshack
have
too.
any strong like emotional ties to it,
No.
but I've seen it on Comedy Central.
Well,
many times
after
throughout the
I
years.
put you in a trance from me talking about the movie, you had to see it.
Well,
Yeah.
you put a voodoo spell on it.
Yeah. Just like in the movie.
Just like in the movie. Well, what about you? When did you first?
I saw it, so it'd be 93 when it came out.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old, so I watched it probably at my parents' house, which I think I remember that because they rented it from Blockbuster. No,
Right.
we rented it from a grocery store because you can do that back in
Oh
the day.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
I
Fry's in the
remember
South Side. We used to rent movies and video games there. So we rented that and then just watched it, and I thought it was the funniest fucking movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I was captivated. It was like, this is like the most like adult movie I've ever seen, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, there are boobs. Quick boob flash.
It's
Weekend
everything
Bernie's
that like a pre-pubescent boy would want. It's like there's
Boobs and girls
slapstick
in
comedy,
bikini.
there's boobs, lots of butts,
There's
zombies.
dead dudes getting hit in the nuts.
token black dudes that kind of steal a movie.
Casio-tone reggae.
Yeah, Casio-tone reggae. It's great.
Yeah.
How about you,
So,
Taj?
I honestly don't remember when I first saw Weekend at Bernie's 2.
About 10 minutes ago when we just watched it?
Probably, when we just watched it just now. I do remember when I saw Weekend at Bernie's 1, it's funny, in '89, my father, I think he was going on a date and had to take me with him. I was 8 at the time, and we went and saw a double feature. Yeah,
Babies
right?
in all the
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Right? Hello.
Sit there and look cute.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like the puppy dog. I was pretty adorable at 8, and I was like a clone of my dad, so it's kind of look at the mini me. But no, we went to a double feature, and it started with Weekend at Bernie's, and it ended with Say Anything.
Aww.
Yeah, which is a weird combo when you think
Yeah.
about it. Like to go from like sticky dead dude to like John Cusack holding the radio over his head. But I ended up, both those movies have been kind of, imprinted in my psyche since I was like 8 years old for some reason. So I don't remember when it was with Weekend at Bernie's 2, but yeah, when we watched it, it was like, okay, I know I've seen this, but there were definitely points where I was like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come out of? Like, I have no idea why the fuck that just happened.
Dude, it's awesome how much is raining right now.
I know.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
I think actually, in case we missed it, we should take a quick stand in the rain break. I don't know, because this is about the time that we were going to split on the interview anyhow.
Well, let's just take a break and then we'll edit that part.
So yeah, folks.
We didn't even do any real talking about Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh no, that's the meat and potatoes of the second.
Okay, so that's it. We're gonna come back.
Yeah.
And we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just chill.
Oh yeah. So okay, we just figured we'll do like 20 minutes now. We'll give you guys.
So basically, the first movie he's dead. The second movie he's dead.
He's dead and dancing.
Dead-ish.
He's still even when he's dead, he's the life of the party. So yes, enjoy this little hip hop beat with some Weekend at Bernie's samples, and we'll be right back to talk about Weekend at Bernie's 2.
That's right.
Welcome back to Electric Boogaloo Part 2. This is Part 2 of Electric Boogaloo Part 2. And we're here again with the lovely Bethany Evans.
You.
Hello.
And as always, Stephen Romo, my co-host.
Hi.
So yes, we just spent some time outside in the first real monsoon of the season. We're a little damp now, but that's okay.
I didn't want to go out there.
Yeah, Romo didn't join us.
It looked scary.
But
I don't know. It was just scary. It's been on hard.
Yeah, but it's fun. So we'll be doing the remainder of the show a little damp, which is fine.
A little moist.
A little moist. I actually specifically did not use the word moist because I know that there's a large population of females that can't handle the word moist.
I hate the word moist.
So I think you should use that in your stand-up.
Well, I think it's not just the female thing.
Is it not a female
It's
thing?
a everyone thing.
I hate the word moist.
Moist.
Yeah.
Unless it's describing a cake. I don't want any part of that.
I don't want any part of your moisture. All right.
Oh,
so yes, we just binge watched both Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. Let's get some initial reactions. Bethany.
Well, they were both like darker than I remember.
Right. It
For
is.
sure.
It is a movie about dragging around a corpse.
Imagine that. And I just kept thinking that if you just tweaked certain details and made the soundtrack different, it could be a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I dug it. Even though the first one was like, as we discussed earlier, overtly sexist.
Yeah.
And the second one is much kinder to the female characters, but it's super racist.
Yes, there is some racial wrongdoings.
How did it meet your guys' expectations?
Well, for me, because I've seen the movie so many times that like it was just like whatever. But actually watching it and like really dissecting the movies, on the outside, Weekend at Bernie's 1 was on the cusp of being an 80s movie or a 90s movie. So it had like this identity crisis. There were some aspects of the movie that were very 80s, but some of the things that they were doing were things that people were doing well into the early 90s.
Oh yeah.
So, but like, you know, it was filmed in '89.
Yes.
So like, it's just, it might as well have just been a 90s movie, but it's an 80s movie. So that's what I was focusing on more. And Weekend at Bernie's 2 is just full blown a 90s movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's like not parasailing, like sail surfing. There's like the weird thongs that go up above the waist.
Rollerblades
aplenty.
Conga lines.
Except the fact that Larry still dresses like it's 1989.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be like 72 hours after.
That's the thing.
But it's totally not.
Yeah, we
should
say that about these movies, is that one rolls almost directly into the other. This Weekend at Bernie's 2 picks up exactly where Weekend at Bernie's 1 leaves off, to the extent that when Larry and Richard go back to the job after, you know, Bernie's been murdered and they're like, hey, we found that $2 million, they end up getting fired right on the spot because they think that they're involved with the smuggling of the money, and then immediately goes into them trying to recollect this money now because they're out of work. So it's a
also
very
because that was the early signs that Larry wanted to be Bernie Lomax.
Right.
Yeah, Larry's.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit. You guys have talked about this a little bit on your own, and you have kind of a theory about Bernie, or not Bernie, about Larry, who, in case we haven't said yet, that's Andrew McCarthy, who you might know better as Blaine from 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. Oh my God. John Hughes is rolling over in his grave. Blaine. It's not a name, it's an electrical appliance. But yeah, what you guys were talking about is, why don't you cover that, because it's a really interesting theory. Bethany?
Well, okay, in the first movie, both of the main characters, Richard and Larry, have their own psychosis that seems motivated by different factors.
Right.
And for Richard, it's a little more typical. He wants to get the girl.
Right.
Larry wants to be Bernie.
Yes.
And in the second movie, as Romo can explain further, it seems like he really slips into Bernie's lifestyle.
Yeah. So Larry's a sociopath, and Richard is, and there's no other way to really say this. He just wants to do everything for pussy, and he's weak.
He's very weak.
Because I still can't figure out if Larry and Richard were friends before they worked together.
Right.
Or if they're just work friends.
Well, Larry's, you even said this while we were watching it, it was like, emotional manipulation. Like, Larry is one of those guys that he'll find the guy. He'll find the weak one. He'll find the Richard and be like, hey, you're going to be my best friend, and this is how things are going to go, you know? So you're right, it's hard to tell whether this friendship is like, oh, we went to college together, and then when we graduated, we both ended up at this, like, you know, investment firm, and now we're at the bottom of the totem. It's obvious that they're relatively young. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It seems like they must be in like their early to mid-20s. They never really touch on that, but just based on the fact that, you know, like Richard still lives at home,
right?
And Larry has like a shitty little apartment. Larry definitely dresses like he's still. I mean, I guess technically we figured out I dress a lot like Larry. To the point
you are dressed like Larry now.
I'm wearing Converse and a neon.
I didn't know we were supposed to dress like our favorite characters in the movie, but
my favorite character in the movie is Taj Hodges. Apparently,
he plays Larry.
I play Larry in my real life. You catch me in Tucson playing Larry on a daily basis. But yeah, so that that transformation though, like it seems like in the first one Larry wants to be somewhat of the status of Bernie, but definitely in the second one he, when they check him out at the morgue at the very beginning of the movie, he gets his personal belongings. He says he's his nephew. He's wearing the watch. He figures out his signature. He's going to restaurants. He's paying for his food with Bernie's credit cards. Yeah, he's definitely trying to slip into it. And there's the only real factoid that I could find about Weekend at Bernie's 2 was that they actually had intentions to do a Weekend at Bernie's 3. And my theory is that Larry would end up trying to actually be Bernie, and then Bernie would keep showing up again, and Larry would be I feel like in every movie there's a character that goes insane, and I think in the third one it would have been Larry that actually goes batshit insane.
Which, by the way, that's to me the funniest moments of each of the films.
Yeah.
Is the person who's going insane.
Oh, yeah.
Repeatedly seeing Bernie, even though they've killed him many times.
It's a formula that works.
It's a formula that works.
Metaphorically, we all have a Bernie.
We've all got our Bernie to bear.
I also have a theory that Richard would be dead in Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Really? Oh, and maybe it's Richard that Larry has to animate for some reason. He's just gotten addicted to the idea of always having a dead person to. Oh man, that's really.
What a sad reality
really
their life.
But also, Weekend at Bernie's 3 wouldn't take place on a beach, and it wouldn't take place at St. Thomas.
Both movies.
It would probably take place in Larry's apartment and never leave, and it would be the most terrifying movie you've ever seen.
Psycho.
Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Yeah.
Richard's house.
Wow, so
it's terrifying.
They finally just admit what you said earlier, which is that it could very easily be a horror movie, and they're just now it's just a straight up psychological horror.
And with the rain, I'm starting to freak myself out.
Yeah.
I'm just too stoned right now.
The lights are going out.
You just see Bernie walk across the hallway.
As long as no steel drums kick in.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. You take away the tropical paradise and the Casio tone reggae. You have a really terrible psychological
Well, in particular in Weekend at Bernie's 2, when they show him coming out of Bernie, his body, which has been shoved into a refrigerator.
Right.
The body comes out and does a little Bernie dance, and there's just something so creepy about that shot.
It was that scene where his fingers come out of the...
Yeah!
Oh, it is kind of scary.
I definitely agree that they upped the ante from 1 to 2 in terms of what they would do to Bernie's body.
I mean, the arrow through his skull.
Yeah, it was a spear. It was from a spear gun.
Well, they shove. The first thing they shove him in a.
They shove him in a suitcase, and he's jumping on it, as if bruises still don't happen.
They spray him with aerosol deodorant.
Well, yeah. At that point, he was 5 days deceased. So you got to cover that smell.
I sprayed a hippie that was crashing a pad
with Aquanet? You just sprayed his eyeballs with Aquanet when he was sleeping. Okay, we're going off topic because he can't open them afterwards.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Yes.
So Weekend at Bernie's 2. They're in St. Thomas now. Now, there's these 2 other guys that we don't know if they're on vacation or if they're part of the mob as well, or if they found out about this $2 million and they just get roped into it by going to a voodoo club.
Right. Yeah, because that's actually
club.
That's pretty much what it was like.
So the 2 characters in question would be Charles and Henry, who are 2 very stylish black dudes that just happen to show up at this voodoo party, I guess you could call it.
Just...
And they don't... Okay, so the cartel is already there for some reason. So the cartel, I guess, is involved in voodoo. That's just it. They never say. They just show up at this party. It sounds like they're just on vacation to see Carnival.
But they get intertwined with
the cartel is there. The cartel is trying to use Mobu to...
is it Mobu or Mobu?
It's Mobu.
Okay.
It's M-O-B-U. Yeah. They're trying to get her help to find Bernie's money. And I don't understand that connection at all, but later on in the movie, when they open up Bernie's safe deposit box, where they assume the money's going to be, they find what I guess is a map. They have no idea how to read it, and they show Larry's love interests. They show her this map, and she says, "Well, I don't know, but it's definitely voodoo." And my dad, who's a doctor, is a specialist in voodoo, so he could definitely read this map for us. And it's just like, okay,
yeah, it was great.
But anyhow, back to these two characters, Henry and Charles, because they really are just like wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah,
kind
they
of
really
dudes.
were. But the Mobu puts him under a trance, or like a voodoo spell, and she gives him this voodoo doll, and they'll like go back to New York City and go to the coroner's office and find this man.
And a chicken.
And a chicken.
Forget the chicken.
So they're given specific instructions like light candles, write an X, write a T, get you have to have a live chicken and chicken bones or something, and
Yes.
and you have to chant this stuff, and they have to play music. So they try it in a bathroom of a porno theater, and
Yeah, why?
I think honestly, it was like a porno theater that rented rooms for prostitutes, maybe for fornicating within. But I don't know.
well,
They could have just went to an Econo Lodge.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
see, Weekend at Bernie's 2 is so full of plot holes, like.
So many
It's-
questions.
It's New York. Don't they have like places that are shitty like that?
I'm
that you-
sure it was like 1989 New York City, you know?
I thought it was just a normal movie theater.
No, it was straight up porno theater.
Yeah.
So
It's my turn.
they do all the instructions in order, and Bernie starts dancing to music to lead them to where.
You forgot an important part.
What's that? Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay, cool.
So Bernie starts getting up and he's going crazy, and they're like, "Let's go follow him." They stop the music. Weekend at Bernie, or sorry, not Weekend at Bernie's. Bernie just falls to the floor. They're confused as to why it's happening. So once they figure out that he's walking, somebody walks into the bathroom and the chicken runs out, but they can't start.
No, the chicken happens before.
It does.
Oh damn.
Oh,
Oh no,
Are we good?
No, I have the laptop.
Laptop.
That was awesome.
Is still a go. We just had a flicker in the power.
It's the voodoo.
yeah.
Voodoo.
It's seriously all this time.
We've been talking.
Chickens.
I know, it's
all
freaking
this
me
talk
out.
about voodoo is.
So I guess going back, I made a mistake. The chicken somehow escapes the bathroom, and they have to figure out how to fix it. They don't know how to find a chicken in New York City without it being cooked, so they find a pigeon.
Right.
So it's a bird, but not a said specific bird, and there's a flaw in the hex because Bernie just doesn't get up and start walking. There has to be music playing, which apparently
So
now
if it happened to chicken,
Which I think
he
that's.
would have
way
needed the music.
he would have walked from New York City to St. Thomas.
Yeah,
that's the other
but
loop,
You see,
like,
but here's the thing: the filmmakers and the writer, they needed more Casio tone reggae.
Right.
They need a
Absolutely.
vehicle for more Casio tone reggae. So thus the flaw in the hex
Yeah.
and of the comedy Annie.
It's yeah. So I honestly think personally that it's better to have Bernie kind of with a stop and go, because you're right. Because if he had just started moving, he would have walked to St. Thomas from New York.
Straight in the ocean.
Really boring.
Yeah, it was boring as hell.
How would that have even worked? And
Weekend
that's
at Bernie's 2 would have been a 22-minute movie.
right.
And he just goes in the ocean, no one ever
He
sees
just
him again.
walks.
Yeah, non-stop in the bottom of the ocean.
So yeah. So Charles and Henry. You may remember Bethany mentioning earlier that the Weekend at Bernie's 1 was very sexist, and this one had a tinge of
Which, by the
racial.
way, that accusation isn't just out of nowhere. The main girl, Gwen, the love interest, is a ding dong.
Yeah, she is ridiculous.
He's like, "Can I come to your house?" And she's like, "No, I have 5 roommates, and they're all doing their hair."
Yeah.
You're so cute,
Yeah.
hiding and stalking me. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, you're being really creepy by kind of stalking me, and she's like, tee and blushing, and
And
like, no, girl, like,
It was
this
the
guy's a
80s,
creep.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, come
And
on,
if-
man, get woke.
if you think if you think about it too, like everything that Richard says to her, because all the lies he tells are about people dying.
Yeah.
Like it's total foreshadowing for Bernie about to get whacked off, because that's all. This all
Whacked
happens
off.
before.
Whacked
yeah,
off.
Whacked off. Okay. That's,
Well, he does, and that's a whole different.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
scene.
So yes, that is something that we do have to touch on definitely. Sexual encounters with a dead man. So I thought that they happened in the second one as well. They do not. That's a spoiler. I apologize.
Yeah.
But But Bernie does get busy in Weekend at Bernie's 1. It's a weird moment.
Maybe we should just not touch on
Yeah, okay.
And then immediately following was the worst overdubbing job
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It took a scat, and it was terrible.
And that intercourse was part of the reason of Bernie's demise, is because the woman that sleeps with him post-mortem, she is the mob boss's girlfriend, which I don't even know if we touched on the mob boss factor, but Bernie is having his mob buddies, though he's trying to get them to whack Harry and
Larry
and Richard off. And instead they decide Bernie has been trouble.
Bernie's the one that needs to get whacked off
Bernie's
first.
the one that needs to get whacked off first.
Pretty much, they wanted all three of those guys to get whacked off, but in a specific order. Bernie gets whacked off first.
I don't know.
Bernie gets whacked off first, and then Larry and Richard is a murder-suicide.
Right, but I think they would have been in the clear had they just never showed up. You know what I mean? Like
Larry and Richard?
I don't think that the mafia was going to be looking for them.
Right.
I think that once Bernie was dead, that's all they really cared about. But that's just an opinion. But yes.
So Larry and Richard weren't going to get whacked off.
I don't think so. I think that they would have lived if Bernie had just been killed.
Larry had never gotten whacked off, which we find out later.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, he did all the whacking off.
He's whacking off constantly. All right. To get back to Charles and Henry.
Where have we seen those actors before?
Well, Charles, who was played by Tom Wright, has been in things like Barbershop and Tales from the Hood. Which,
That was a scary one.
That's a scary one. And that's it's not really a sequel, so I guess we couldn't really do it.
What, Tales from the Hood?
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. It's too scary.
And then Henry was, I think actually he had a part in Weird Science, but probably what people would know him from is like, I'm gonna get you, sucker. But he's one of those. He was more of a stunt man. He was played by Steve James, and so those guys, it ends up being pseudo vaudevillian. They have them being kind of like the bumbling, incompetent. Oh, we lost the dead guy. There's this whole
Classic.
There's this whole fight sequence in the subway where they don't really like. They kind of start to fight, but the way that they hit each other is that they're like, oh, he ducks accidentally.
Yeah.
Oh, like. It's really pretty.
I mean, those are the two characters that really clue you into like this is 1993.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like they brought vaudevillian humor into like the New Jack Swing era,
Also they
Right.
keep magically saying the same catchphrases at the same time.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Word.
Keep cool, keep cool.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but I honestly do like their characters.
Yeah, they had a little lightning
Yeah.
speech scene there.
They're fun. Because Larry's going batshit.
Right.
Larry's like scary and way more annoying in the second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
the
is.
intensity is up like a bunch of notches in the
He
second
goes
one.
to St. Thomas and is like, aloha.
Yeah, he's racist.
Yeah, it's hard to understand why Richard is still so invested at this point, but Larry, it makes sense. Like, he's still going crazy. Richard, in the first one, he had the girl, and that was the reason why he was pretending that Bernie was alive. In this one, it's all financially driven, and that just doesn't seem as important to Richard for some reason. I mean, it's all Larry. He's the one that really wants all the money, but then also he just wants to be Bernie.
It's back on that weird codependent friendship that they've used with each other.
There's the
But we
weak
never
one.
really got to why the reason why he's so crazy, which is actually kind of important.
Whoa, well, okay, it's kind of a spoiler. I mean, we should touch on it, though. Fuck it, this show, we make no apologies about spoilers. It's
Sorry for
it's
spoilers.
it's
We did a
2016.
version 2 for you guys.
It's 2016. You've had fucking 23 years. But okay,
We're really sorry.
so in the course of the film, in order to force Richard and Larry to find the $2 million and bring it back to the cartel, the voodoo mistress, Mobu, she makes Richard drink this potion and then says, if you don't bring it back by tonight, then you're going to be dead. And everyone's like, oh, it's voodoo. And I'm like, oh, she just poisoned him.
Right.
Like, it's not voodoo per se. But, you know, she's the voodoo priestess, so that's what we consider
Priestess. That's the word.
That's the word. That's the word that they kept using in the show. Priestess. So, so yes, at the end, she gets a concussion because of wackiness, which involves Bernie kicking her in the head, even though he's dead. And the
Well, he's in the front of like a horse-driven buggy.
Yes, that's gone out of control.
Doing flips.
Yes.
And he's holding on. He's holding on to
Like
his
a
chest.
pistol.
Like,
He's got an arrow in his head, a spear in his head,
and Birdie pretty much kicks the Mobu right in the face.
Mobu right in the face. But fortunately, the love interest, what is her name again? Claudia. Yes. Claudia is there, and her dad happens to be there at the same time too, conveniently enough.
Doctor of Voodoo.
Doctor of Voodoo. He's a doctor, and he is very interested in voodoo. And he says, "I can save him, but I need a virgin's blood."
Right.
And we're like, "Oh shit! No one here's a virgin." But then Larry offers up his finger,
Right.
and so Larry is
Just
saying he's a
take the
virgin.
blood.
So this goes back to what you were talking about what they're driving. Bethany.
So
What's
in
their driving
thinking of
force?
Bernie's part one, when Larry and Richard arrive at Bernie's beach house, Larry's super excited. He's like, "Yay, I'm gonna get laid."
Right.
And watching that, I kind of laughed, like, "Okay, cool, typical dude. He's
Right.
gonna get laid." But then in the second one, when you find out he's a virgin, it takes on this way
Right.
bigger context. Like, oh, he was just trying to get some pussy. That's whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Bless his heart.
And then it takes his whole character takes on a whole new context.
Because now he's just a desperate virgin dude.
He's going insane.
He's just going insane.
He's
Like,
a young
He's
20-something.
hormonal.
Yeah.
Like,
It's backed up. He needs to do more whacking off.
He needs to get whacked off.
well, I
He's
think
good
that's
like that.
what he might have been doing in Weekend at Bernie's 1,
Yeah.
when
There
Richard...
was a scene when Bernie gets washed up on the beach.
They allude to many things in Weekend at Bernie's 1, and then to have him suddenly be a virgin at the end does kind of drive the fact that it is a part of himself that is driving him insane, because he is so focused, like, I gotta have sex. But in the first one, he says, oh, they always yell at me when I just lay there after the girl goes upstairs and fornicates with the dead Bernie Lomax.
plot
And
inconsistency.
yeah, but that's another thing we talk about. Like, did these films segue into each other pretty well? They did. I mean, that's what we're saying, is that it was like the next day. Even though they're a couple years older and it's obviously higher quality film they used,
Yeah.
it's still pretty consistent.
We also talked about the inconsistency with Richard and the swimming.
Yes, there's one scene where Richard dives into a pool at the $600 a night resort in St. Thomas, and he jumps in, and then it cuts to a scene about 10 minutes later with lifeguards pulling him out of the pool, which is okay. Now, going forward in the movie, they put waterproof headphones on Bernie, and he walks underwater.
Right.
So, what's that?
Oh, I just said right.
Yeah. So Larry's like, I have an idea. So he, like he said, gets waterproof headphones, starts walking underwater, and Larry, Richard, and I forgot her name, Claudia, they all have scuba gear, and then there's a really unnecessarily long shot.
I almost fell
Right.
asleep during that scene.
Yeah.
I did fall asleep for a little while in there. Because it's so nice. It's like a
Underwater,
water scene,
like, dream
Casio
scene.
tone,
It was
That's
almost
just
like
the
they were,
reggae, yeah.
it was almost like they were just showing off the fact that they were filming underwater. Like,
yeah,
look at
well,
these
they were
beautiful
just showing
shots.
off their budget.
Yeah,
Like
like
they were seriously
Yeah.
showing, and that's actually what Weekend at Bernie's 2 did. It's
Right.
like there's so many establishing shots. Like, look, we're in St. Thomas.
Absolutely.
Look at how
Yeah.
beautiful
It is a
Look at
destination
this
film.
crazy production value, and let's have how many
But he
minutes?
couldn't-
10-minute
He
underwater
What,
couldn't
10
scene.
swim
minutes?
in a
Yeah.
hotel pool, and then all of a sudden he's this master diver.
He needs to be in open water.
Yeah.
He feels too constricted in a pool.
Yeah.
He needs to be out.
Sounds like you can relate to that.
Ew, gross.
I need to be in the open
I need
waters.
to be open waters, man.
I have to swim free with the dolphins.
Cool.
But yeah,
Which, that part, yeah, anyway.
yeah, it was ridiculous. But that's what we love about these horror movies, is how ridiculous they actually are. So we were talking earlier about there's always a character that goes insane in the movie. I really wish I had the name of the actor from Weekend at Bernie's 1 that goes insane. You guys might know him as the
Sunglasses guy.
Sunglasses guy. Yeah.
We would have to go to that.
But he played a part in Return of the Living Dead, which I think I want to do. I think that even though it's not technically a sequel, it's kind of like a remake or a re-envisioning. But anyhow, he plays the mortician in that movie. But in the second one, the guy that goes insane, he works for the internal investigations for the company that Larry and Richard get fired from, and it's Barry Bostwick, who, if you don't know that name, it's not super surprising, but he was Brad in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And oh my gosh, he and then also the mayor in
Spin City.
In Spin City with Michael J. Fox, of course.
And Charlie Sheen and Heather Locklear.
Heather Locklear, a lot of star power in that.
God, he had some of the best things in Weekend at Bernie's too.
Yeah, he was great. His physical comedy was amazing.
When he's in the sub and he sees Bernie just walking through the ocean and he finally just loses his mind.
And Weekend at Bernie's has some pretty cool cameos too. Like now, like looking back now, the woman that was giving the tour of the underwater submarine is the yoga lady from Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah, Constance Sherman.
There you go. She's great.
Yeah, she's great. She's all young and
she's super smooth.
Yeah.
Sir.
But the voice is so it's so iconic of her.
It really is.
It's just like as soon as you hear that, it's like that's that yoga lady. Oh yeah. But yeah.
And also what I this is going way back too. So when I was a kid, I think the reason why I love Weekend at Bernie's 2 so much is because of the animated intro.
Dude.
That was a great part of the movie.
Yeah.
That intro.
Animated intro. It wasn't as good as City Slickers, because I don't think any animated intro can be as good as City Slickers 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty good.
And we'll get to that eventually. That'll be another month. But yes, we'll definitely delve into those intros as well.
Oh, definitely.
So okay, I feel like we've touched on pretty much. Is there anything else that you really had that you wanted to touch on, Bethany? I think at this point we could really just talk about our lasting impressions of the film, and would we recommend this, or is this something that it's from the past and it should just stay in the past? But okay, so let's say we watched both today, original versus sequel.
I have to go with the original.
Yeah.
It's just more iconic to me. And
Yeah.
the sequel was entertaining, but I definitely would not recommend it.
We kind of duped Bethany into doing this one, but I'm glad that we did. But yeah, what about you, Romo?
10-year-old me would say Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Yeah.
32-year-old Stephen Romo would have to say the original.
Yeah.
It's good. Like the original is filled with late 80s, early 90s nostalgia.
Right.
Yeah.
And the first one is so cliche too. It's like a couple of turn of the decade, like late 80s, early 90s bros working in New York City at a corporate office.
Pastel suits and cocaine.
Yeah. Smoking in the lobby in short suits.
Yeah, short suits. it was great. And then there was also a scene in Weekend at Bernie's 1 where Bernie Lomax invites Larry and Richard into his executive office suite, and they're like, yeah, we can save you $2 million because we found the flaw. And he tells them to hold on. He goes to the bathroom and he comes out and he massages his nasal glands and kind of makes like this weird look with his eyes and sits down and kind of like, I mean, not that I've ever done cocaine, but
from what I would assume.
From what I assume, they do like that stretch of the top lip, like that,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, no one knows what I'm talking about. I don't even, I've just seen it. So Bernie Lomax was your quintessential, 80s money-making man that does cocaine.
Right. Yeah. I would also say Weekend at Bernie's 1. I have too many emotional memories attached to it for the reasons of like when I first saw it and how many times I did see it. Weekend at Bernie's 2 is fun, and it has all the elements of one of those like horrible sequels. It's like we've got this idea. We've already exhausted the concept. Is not going to be new and exciting. So how do we make it new and exciting? We'll make him animated. Like we'll actually make him move.
We'll throw some racial caricatures in there.
Exactly.
Taj and I have probably seen Weekend at Bernie's. Well, actually, Taj, Bethany, and I have probably talked about and seen Weekend at Bernie's more in the past 2 weeks than anyone else on this planet right now.
True.
For research purposes. Well, yes, I would still say Weekend at Bernie's 1 is the ultimate winner.
Miller, what do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first Weekend at Bernie's is this very brightly colored beach party with a dead guy. And that's awesome, and it's very quaint and cute, and there's a lot of slapstick humor. And then the second one, it's like the perfect sequel. It's what every bad sequel does. It's like, well, now we have more money,
Right.
and we have to like redo this first idea. So let's just throw a bunch of money at it and try to set it up where it's funny again, but it wasn't cute and quaint. It was like big budgeted and stretched out and stupid, and then all the action in that movie happens in the last 10 minutes. It's like there's a lot of lead up and then like a lot of cool stuff in the last 10 minutes.
It's no Sister Act 2.
It's no Sister Act.
No way.
But very few things are, and I think that it's going to be a common trend that we see these movies. They're just like get the money thrown at them and let's just make it bigger. How do you make it more exciting? I don't know. Just make it bigger. But
A prime example of a production company shooting themselves in the feet with the budget is Caddyshack 2.
right.
That
And
has
we'll
to
get
be
to that
done.
too. Oh, we'll definitely get to that.
We did come up with, for the listeners, drinking games, right?
Oh yeah.
You can do a drink every time there's a nut shot.
Every time there's a nut shot.
Yeah.
I think that should be a big one though, because
There's
know what?
one scene where you're gonna get blacked out drunk.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
honestly, it's really just that one scene. Like I feel like that's a running joke. Watch a movie about a dead guy getting kicked in the nuts several times. Like I feel like that's something that you'd see on like The Family Guy or something. That'd be like a joke that Peter would cut to. But he doesn't get hit in the
A
second time.
champagne cork bottle like it's popped.
And we get Bernie's 1.
It was like every cut scene of the same party, it would be like 12 seconds of Bernie sitting on a couch, and this is also when they first established that Bernie was dead, and then like this traveling party crew just burst into Bernie's house. And Larry and Richard are like, we just have to like be a puppet and like make him move, and
Bernie's just sitting on the couch.
But so there's probably about, I would say, 15 at least cut scenes in this one party, and then every cut scene was just
You
like,
guys get blackout.
just like a pop. And if you drank to that scene, you would be fucking housed.
But you might come up with an idea for a podcast.
You might come up with an idea for a podcast. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here today. Once again, this is Electric Boogaloo Part 2. We're going to be coming at you most likely once a month with a new sequel to discuss with a new guest. Once again, thank you, Bethany Evans, for being here
Thank you,
today.
guys.
Thank you, Bethany.
Be sure to check out Bethany with Fist, Female Storytellers, or the Estrogen Hour, or at one of the several clubs in town that features stand-up comedy. Did we get an actual time for the next time that we can see you live on stage? You don't actually have one right now. Well, no, July 13th.
July 13th.
This will definitely be out before July 13th. So be sure to check out the next Female Storytellers at the Flycatcher on 4th Avenue here in Tucson, July 13th. 13th. And if I get my ass together and get this actually on the web fast enough, come join Stephen Romo for Romo Tonight Live on Tuesday, June 28th, where he'll be having his season finale. Big show with Lando Chill. It's going to be on the show, I think. That should be good. But yeah. As for me, the next time you can see me doing my thing out on the scene
Oh God.
and I can't even remember the date, but the night at Shays.
July 9th.
July 9th, yes, July 9th, Shays. We've got a band that's going to be doing a Black Sabbath cover. They're going to be doing the entire album Paranoid from beginning to end. Thank you, Justin. And I'll be playing with a few friends, including Andy Francis, covering some Cure songs. So come out to Shays July 9th, and it's a free show. Get some free music.
And Justin, thank you so much
and
for...
yes, Justin Miller, our wonderful producer who made us coffee and put up with us sitting around a microphone and talking, and also interjecting. I like that element,
yes,
actually.
I
like you being involved, because he's the only one that has any kind of actual accreditation that says that he's qualified to speak on film. So it's good to have him in the room in case I say something and make an ass of myself. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Electric Boogaloo Part 2.
See you next time.
Bye.